What if I told you that young Africans, including Nigerians, are dying in the battlefields of Ukraine? Not as part of any African army, not sent by their government, but as contract soldiers in the Russian military. Some were promised jobs, some were tricked, some were promised citizenships, and many never returned home. Today we are breaking down one of the most disturbing and underreported geopolitical developments of this war. African soldiers or Africans fighting and dying in the Russian invasion of Ukraine. How did this happen? Who is recruiting them? Are they volunteers or are they victims? Let's talk about it. My name is Jesse Michael Ogwam and this is Not a Rant. According to Ukrainian intelligence reports, over 1,400 African nationals from more than 30 countries have signed contracts to fight with Russian forces since 2023. These countries include Nigeria, Ghana, Uganda, Kenya, South Africa, Cameroon, and the Central African Republic. These fighters are not deployed by their government, they are contract soldiers. Here's where it gets complicated. Many of them did not travel to Russia to become soldiers. They went there for a different reason. Several investigative reports show a pattern. Young Africans are approached with offers of construction jobs, security works, factory employment, student visa extensions, fast track Russian citizenship. They travel to Moscow expecting civilian work. Then their passports are taken, the passports are seized, and suddenly they are in military training camps. One Nigerian, Abubakar Adamu, publicly alleged that he was lured on a tourist visa and forced to sign enlistment document he could not even read because they were written in Russian. There are also reports of online recruitment, even through gaming platforms like Discord, where young men are promised opportunities abroad. In some cases, there is little training and then they are deployed to the front line in eastern Ukraine. In early 2026, Ukrainian officials identified two Nigerians killed in Luhansk, Hamzat Kazim Kolawale and Mba Stephen Udoka. Both reportedly signed contracts with the Russian military. Both were killed in drone strikes. Neither had extensive combat training. Families back home were left shocked. This is not a theory anymore. These are graves. We must ask the uncomfortable questions. Why will a young Nigerian, Ghanaian, or Ugandan risk fighting in a European war? Economic desperation, definitely. High youth unemployment, limited mobility, visa struggles. For some, a military contract offering several $1,000s a month feels like escape. For others, it is just survival. But there's also geopolitics. Russia has deepened ties across Africa, particularly in countries where Western influence have weakened. Given security partnership, given armed deals, given military operations, this recruitment pipeline sits inside the larger relationship. Russia classifies them as legal contract soldiers. Ukraine calls them mercenaries. Human rights group warned of trafficking and coercion. Some African governments say their citizens are deceived. South Africa, for example, has reportedly sought the return of nationals believed to have been tricked. If someone signs a contract under misinformation and language barrier, is that consent? If your passport is confiscated, is that voluntary? This moves from military recruitment into ethical gray zones. During World War I and World War II, African soldiers fought in European wars for colonial power. They did not design those wars, they were used in them. Today, Africa is independent, but economic inequality still makes its youth vulnerable to global power struggles. The battlefield changed, but the power imbalance still remains. This is not about taking sides in the Russian-Ukraine war. This is about African lives caught in someone else's conflict. It's about economic vulnerability. It is about recruitment ethics. It is about sovereignty in a global world. Are these men mercenaries? Are they victims? Are they opportunists? Or are they symbols of a deeper imbalance in the global system? What we do know is this: African sons are fighting in Ukraine. Some are not coming back at all because some are dead, obviously. And most people on the continent are barely talking about it. Maybe we should really talk about it. Maybe we should ask the government what is really going on. How do we have our brothers end up fighting a war we don't even know about? How are we so distracted that we don't know that this is going on?